Hello, Devlin Bishop here with you, and welcome to another edition of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. Tonight's episode is a little different. I'm going to call this a Frankenstein episode, because during the summer I've been taping segments, not just complete shows, but actual segments where I'm going to keep them, and then what'll happen is eventually when I want to put a show together, I'll take certain segments and sew them together. So everything you hear today is brand new, but they could have been recorded many different times and even months apart. But I think it'll make for an interesting show. My first segment on this episode, I'm going to talk to the person that probably is the most asked person. How come he has never guested? My partner, my soulmate, whatever you want to call him, Mike Cuthbertson. He's going to be here, and we're going to do a little segment about what it's like living with me. Then I'm going to do a segment about the summer movie Quickie reviews, part 2. I did one at the beginning of the summer. I'm going to wrap up the end of the summer with some more movies that I've checked out. And finally, in segment 3, I'm going to have a little visit with Korta, who is my producer and the woman who inspired me to do this show, and she helps me put together every week. And she's going to go through with me and tell you exactly how we put together a show, and it should be a lot of fun. So anyhow, sit back, relax, and enjoy the segments on this episode of Devlin's Pirate Radio Show. Hello, welcome to Devlin's Pirate Radio Show, and we are here for another episode, and this is a segment I'm doing, and I'm here with probably the most important person in my life. Probably. That's great. Anyhow, he is the most important part of my life. A lot of people ask, how come he hasn't done the show yet? Well, I can tell you all the reasons why he probably hasn't, but since he's here, we'll let him answer for himself. He's my partner. He's so much to me, I don't even know where to begin. He's cute. He's funny. He's very quiet, most of you know, but today I'm hoping he talks a little bit, at least for this one segment. Yes, I have got Mike Cuthbertson next to me. How are you, Mike?
I'm fine.
It's very weird to interview you since we've been together for so long, and I feel like you're a guest, this is your home too, but I like that I call other people co-hosts, but you are a guest. Well, you're not doing a whole show, so I guess this is it. So you are technically a guest, but anyhow, I do get a lot of people wondering how come you wouldn't do the show, and I think you would do the show, but
yeah, I haven't had any really definite reason why I haven't done it. It's just I haven't gone out of my way to ask to be on it.
Does it bother you when I have co-hosts on? Do you listen to the shows and you just seething with rage that he's 20 episodes in and I haven't asked him yet?
No, I'm very happy that you've had lots of people who wanted to do the show with you, and I know that you get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Well, anybody who knows Mike knows that he's kind of a shy guy, and it takes a lot to talk. When we're in a group, he will talk, but it takes a lot. So I just didn't think he'd want to just be yapping for an hour. So that's why we're doing a mini segment to see how he likes it. And how's it going so far?
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine. Present. Now, when I asked him to do this, he was like, well, what are we going to talk about? Well, we could talk about so many things, because he may be shy when we're in groups of people, but Mike and I, we talk about everything. We talk about things people would be shocked that we talk about. But we can have conversations about stuff that could probably put a lot of people to sleep. But basically what I wanted out of this segment is you have something that other people don't have. You get to have me in your life all the time. So I thought you could tell what it's like to live with me, and you can be as candid as you want. I'm not going to hold anything against you. If you want to give the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we're here for. And I'll shut up now so you can actually tell. What is it like living with a celebrity like me?
You're just going to leave it wide open. You're not going to
Oh, I'll find stuff. But I just thought I'd start wide open. What's a day like with me? You know, am I hard to live with? Do I have my moments of rage?
Very happy living with you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm threatening him to say these. These are true answers coming from his mouth. But I can be a prima donna, can I not?
I think everybody has their moments.
Well, you certainly do.
Yeah, I'm more of like a moody bitch at times than a prima donna, but...
Now, a lot of people ask us if we watch Modern Family.
Well, we started recently.
Right, and when I used to watch bits and pieces, I would cringe when I saw Cam and Mitch. And I cringed because I thought, well, they were kind of stereotypes. Now, I totally believe in stereotypes. But now we decided we were going to start watching the show, and I think I now know why people ask us if we watch the show. I do see similarities in those characters with us. Do you?
Yeah. And I guess we both know that I'm more the Mitch character.
Yes,
Mitchell.
I hate to admit it, but we might as well admit it live here today. That yes, we are very similar to that, and I think that's why our relatives and people we know have said, because I think they suspected.
It's like the hair colors have just been switched.
It is. He is definitely more the Mitch character. I am more the Cam character, and it's scary because I do admit there are similarities. Not totally, but yeah, I am the drama queen.
I don't have, like, the career that brings in a lot of money and stuff, but,
Well, no, we don't have the money, and we don't have an Asian child running around,
No.
but we have a lot of stuffed animals that we call our children. That doesn't make us sound pathetic in any way. We have a really great life, and I'm not here to, prove that, but other people would probably think it's very tame. I get people telling me, you guys are always doing stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, I think we can be kind of boring at times, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I've told you many times that I sometimes think that, my family alone probably thinks that it's just, restaurants and movies and going to your shows and just shopping and just, live in this hedonistic lifestyle all the time.
It really is. I like to freak people out when I invite them over for the first time. I always tell them, okay, don't worry, we'll put all the cock statues and gay men pictures that we have around the, and they look at me like, really? And I'm like, no, we have toys around the house. Well, I'm not saying we don't have any controversial pictures or anything around, but...
Well, I remember the first few times I've actually had family members come to visit. We kind of didn't make the place look appropriate, but we kind of just, we'll just clean it up and make it look like, conservative for them.
Yeah. We hid some of our toys.
Yeah.
Now we don't.
Things that, there's things that we love so much, and it's hard when someone comes in and it's like, well, why would you have that? Or what's this about?
Yeah, we used to do that. I don't think we do it that much anymore.
No, we don't hide anything anymore.
No, we just...
Our toys are right in the living room.
Yeah, as we get older, we even buy displays for the toys, the whole works. You know what? We don't live this glamorous life. We don't want to... Actually, we shouldn't dispel the fantasies. It's great when people think we do that, but literally, people laugh at me when I tell them we go out to restaurants, because Mike and I don't really like paying a lot of money and then having a meal that's just adequate. We'd rather go to fast food places or the Golden Griddle.
I'm nodding in agreement. I should be sure.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, stop nodding. You're talking here. But that's what we like, and we enjoy that. We'd rather order a pizza than,
Yeah.
But I guess we do a little high on the hog, because we literally have a pizza place across the way, and we will have them delivered. Some people might think that's a little much.
Well, we're paying for it, so why not have them walk over?
Really, I just don't want to put my pants on, to be honest with you. I, hide my boxers when they come over and stuff like
Plus,
that.
if we walk through the lobby with the pizza, everybody would be judging us. Oh, there they go with the pizza again.
Well, I know. We're always judged. We're always judged. And yes, I do put on shows, and I do go to a lot of places, but a lot of times Mike doesn't go with me. I don't force him to go places. Just because I don't believe that's right. Sometimes you see couples, and you can tell that pick which one doesn't want to be here right now. Some things I do ask him I'd like to be. He knows that when it comes to my comedy shows, my name's in the title, he has to be there.
Well, I know there's important milestones like the award show you just had a couple months ago. I mean, obviously that was an important one to be at. But I also know that you have a large circle of friends, and I like that you have that, and I think it's great that you have different interests you can have with all these other people.
Now, to get rid of some of the scandal, are you bothered when I go off and, have these great nights at the staircase and you're at home?
No.
And then you see pictures the next day of me fondling Josh Obermeyer, in the arms of, Alexandria or something.
No, I'm very happy that you have that.
Yes, so there you go. There's our scandalous review, because people, I'm sure, are like, what do people think?
I don't like to preach about relationships, but I never thought that one person should give up any part of themselves to be with someone else.
Yeah, I know. One time I was at a show, and at the end of the night, Marta Lass, a friend of mine, were hanging out, and we just kind of, I don't know, we just kind of sit there and we kind of are in each other's arms and we're just good friends and close. And I remember somebody looked over and said, you guys are such a great couple. And Mart and I are like, well, first of all, Mart's straight and my boyfriend is back at home. And they were just surprised how comfortable we were together. But I knew that stuff like that, I don't hide that stuff. I'm just a big flirt and I come home. But these glamorous nights, that we supposedly do, we have many nights where we just stay home, too. And that's one of my secrets. I don't try to stay out. There are times I could plan something every night of the week, but there are nights that I say, no, I need a couple nights to just be with you, even if it's us just being home together or doing stuff. We watch a lot of shows, but again, they're not glamorous shows.
Well, that's because I love your company, and I know you love mine.
Yeah,
I think many years ago when I had to do shift work, I think you could tell how stressed I was when I couldn't even, see you in the evening.
Yeah, it is, and I'm now working shifts, but I'm right across the street, so it's just kind of weird now, because I'm going to be home within seconds, because I literally just walk across, and there I am.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I can now stand at the window and actually watch you come out the door when your shift is done. Not that I do that, but I have...
With binoculars. Make sure I'm not going astray somewhere.
It's like, oh, here he comes. I can take the food out of the oven.
Now, we watch a lot of television together, and we like vintage TV, and we do like some new shows.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of your favorite shows that we've watched together that people would just think? Because I tell people some of our evening things, right now we're going through an I Love Lucy flipper phase. They didn't do a show together, just we'll watch an episode of I Love Lucy and then Flipper. What are some of the shows that we've watched together that you've enjoyed or were entertained by?
Well, I guess I could think of some shows that you actually got me into. 90210 is one. I mean, I never watched that when it aired, but I enjoyed watching it with you. As for shows we found together, I guess Queer as Folk would definitely be a big one.
Yeah, that was one of the first shows we watched regularly.
Desperate Housewives, we watched that from day one, and we had many a talk about the state of that show over the years.
Yeah, we've hated some shows together. We still haven't watched the last 3 episodes of American Horror Story. Yet, ironically, we made it through Twin Peaks. That was the one I loved watching with you, even though you ruined it for me a couple times. I love that show immensely, but Mike has a different take on it and made me think of crazy stuff.
That could be its own episode, probably.
Yes, absolutely. But I like your review of Twin Peaks. It was never a dull moment.
Never boring.
Yes. You got me into shows. You made me watch every episode of Little House on the Prairie. And there were a lot of not so good episodes in that, but I did enjoy it, and I still...
Well, I'm glad you liked it, because that was obviously a very important show in my life growing up. Most of my life lessons came from that show.
He learned from that. And you also got me into Doctor Who, the newer versions with the, David Tennant, Chris Eccleston, and Matt Smith, who I love. I haven't watched some of the newer seasons, but you still watch it, and I will probably get around to it. I never thought I'd ever watch a show like Doctor Who, but I certainly enjoyed it when I did watch it. It was really good.
I don't know if I could ever sell you on the old ones, but since they're so ridiculously expensive, I probably won't be seeing those anytime soon.
Now, there's probably one question somebody asked, and I've asked you a couple times this, and you can answer it now for longevity. Did you know when you got involved with me how much you would be hearing Olivia Newton-John or watching all her movies over and over again? Dragged to 2 Grease sing-alongs, but you actually asked to go to the second one, so I can't say drag to that one.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly when it clued in. Maybe when we actually saw her at Rama.
That was your first concert, too. Sort of.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring up I again?
No. I'm sure Gary Reed remembers I.
Canadian group that comes to his school that he's forced to see, and he still considers that his first concert. I mean, one that you actually paid. You were...
Well, we'll get really technical. Free Fare would be my first concert.
Who the hell is Free Fare?
People went to high school in the 80s might recall Free Fare.
Okay. I don't remember that, yeah.
Anyways, when I first started talking to you, we talked about movies we liked, and I obviously knew that Grease was very important to you. So I was quite surprised how important Grease 2 was to you as well. The movie I wasn't all that familiar with.
But we bonded with stuff like the pirate movie and stuff that you had seen.
Well, you showed me Xanadu for the first time, and I was just floored. Not because it was such a great movie, but I had no idea it was that... I won't say cheesy, but I had no idea it was that kind of a story with special effects and people coming out of paintings and all this stuff going on. I thought it was a very straight-laced, kind of a movie.
How many times have you seen Xanadu now?
This year?
No, I think you have seen
it. It's getting up there, maybe about 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, but you love it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So you're not crazed by Olivia Newton-John?
No, I've always enjoyed Olivia Newton-John. I mean...
I could be cranking Liza and Barbara Streisand every 5 minutes, like a real stereotype. I mean,
certainly a good diva to have. I mean, if it was someone like Beyonce, that'd be a little questionable, but...
And your diva, if you had one, you have anybody from Cher to you like ABBA music?
Well, if you talk to my family... They'd probably say Cher. I had a weird fascination with Cher when I was a very young kid, when the Sonny and Cher show was on.
Tell that story. It's a wonderful way to wrap things up.
Well, anybody recalls the show. When Cher was just on her own, doing her own show, she would usually start out a show where she'd come out in like a wrap or a robe or a cape or something. And she'd start out singing the song very mellow, then all of a sudden the music would kick up and she'd throw the cape off and then the hair would be flying around and she'd really get into it. And I guess me, all of 4 years old, would scream and fall off the couch when she'd do that.
And they didn't know he was gay. Yeah. They didn't know he was gay. Anyhow, I think we fit together. Hopefully you don't watch Modern Family now just try to see what we're like, but there are moments that I watch that show, rolling my eyes, going, oh my God, that's so us. But not everything. But Mike, thank you for coming on for this segment, and I'd like to have you on for a full show, and we'll we have lots to talk about, and it was good. Once we got past that awkward introducing you and stuff, it felt nice just talking to
Yeah,
you.
we'll see how I feel once I actually hear my voice on the recording.
Oh, nobody's ready for that. Anyhow, thanks for being here. Now get out of my house. That sounds weird. This is the first time I've had a guest that is going to stay for the rest of the night. So, well, maybe not the first time.
I'm glad I could join you this evening for this segment.
Thank you very much. Hello, Devlin here with you, and we're back, and we have got another segment to kick off. This one is a little something that is called the Summer Movie Quickie Reviews Part 2. This is of the summer movies of 2015. I did one of these for the first half of the summer, and I decided to wrap up the end of the summer. I'd do it again, which, you know, is a good thing for movie fans. They'll get to hear quick reviews of what I thought of the movies of July and August, and it's a bad thing, too, because it also says that the summer is coming to an end. And it was a busy summer. I didn't get to see all the movies I had hoped to see, but I did see a lot more than I thought. And unfortunately, I'm missing 3 big movies that I hope to get the chance to see in the days ahead, or, you know, when they come out on DVD this fall. I didn't get to see Mission Impossible 5, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., or Inside Out, which are all movies I still really want to see. Just for some reasons, they never happened. And, but hey, that's what happens. Summers get busy. But I did manage to see 9 movies, and I'm going to review them in Quickie Reviews. I will rate them after from 1 to 10. As you say, I'm a movie fan. As I've said before, I'm a movie fan. Don't look for any really low movies, because I can usually find the best in bad movies, too. But that being said, my first part of the summer didn't have any movies under 5. This does have 2. So, there you go. There was a couple of clinkers in here. So, let's get right to it, because I've got a lot of movies to review in a very short time. Kicking things off, I got to see the remake of Poltergeist starring Sam Rockwell. And first of all, you should know that I'm not the biggest fan of the original Poltergeist. I know it's an 80s classic and people loved it, and I agree that the special effects were pretty phenomenal. But I always thought the story wasn't very strong, and when they announced a remake, I actually was kind of excited for it because I thought they could improve on it. But unfortunately, this movie didn't. I didn't think it was as good as the original, which means that I really thought this was low. But I thought they gave it their best. I think the director did a really good job with it. I think the effects looked good. They tried a couple of new things that I think worked. I think the performances were really well done. I think Sam Rockwell gave a really strong performance as the father. I really liked watching him. Unfortunately, he didn't have a lot to work with. I think the problem with this movie was that they should have kind of tried to be more original. I think every time they went to try to be original, they kind of always reined it in and basically put it, you know, back to try to satisfy the fans of the original. And I think for some remakes that works, but I think with Poltergeist they could have gotten away with going off on their own little world. But it always seemed that they had to stay loyal. I don't know if it was the studios telling them that, but I think it really hurt the movie on this case, and so I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 10. Got to see Ted 2, and I loved the first Ted. I thought it was a very funny movie. I'll be honest, when I saw the trailers for this one, I did not particularly look excited about it. It looked a little bland and boring. But when I went to actually see Ted 2, I was pleasantly surprised. I was very well entertained. I don't think it was anywhere near the original, but the original, I think, had a special quality that just kind of made it magical. I think this movie didn't really do very well, and I think the reason why is because I think it kind of got away from some audiences. I think the first movie, some women enjoyed the movie too because they did some very Hollywood romantic things, even though the movie was kind of a gross-out comedy and a pot comedy. They also had a little magical thing going on, and, you know, Hollywood, you know, let the whole romantic thing play out with Mark Wahlberg and Mila Kunis. And having her not in the film, I think, hurt it a lot, because I think, you know, the whole thing of the first movie was them kind of being brought together. The whole movie is about that. And when you see Mark Wahlberg is single again, and it's Ted that's got, you know, moving on with his relationship, I think that kind of burned things. But honestly, it was still pretty funny, and it kept me laughing, entertained. They did some really, really good stuff. And so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which isn't too bad. Probably one of my favorite sequels of the summer, well, below Jurassic World and Avengers 2, is a movie not many other people liked, but I did, and it was Terminator Genisys. Arnold Schwarzenegger came back, Jai Courtney was in this, a couple of other people that my mind is forgetting. But you know what? It was really a solid sequel for me. I thought they got things on track. The Terminator series is a weird one for me because I haven't hated any of the movies. But since the first one, I also haven't really loved all the movies. So this one I really kind of liked. I thought, you know, I think it just kept the lore really well, and I know why a lot of people would have hated this movie. I get it. I found it very entertaining. I actually saw it twice at the theaters, and I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of comedy in it. There was a lot of action. I really liked just a lot of the stuff in this movie. The chemistry between Reese and Sarah Connor. And I thought, you know, even Arnie was really, really good in this. And so I really liked Terminator Genisys. No, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I think it's one of the best ones in the series. And the problem with these movies, and I know they want to do more, they probably won't do more now because this one really didn't do well this summer. But the problem with these is every time they go back in time, they kind of tarnish the first one, which I consider the best in the series and one of the best sci-fi films of all time. And unfortunately, when you keep playing with time, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to give Terminator Genisys a very generous 8 out of 10. And yeah, I know there's some people booing at me right now, but you know what? I liked it. Coming in at well, no, this isn't a countdown. This is just a random order. But up next is Magic Mike XXL. And, of course, Channing Tatum's back, and he's brought some of his friends back with him, and they're going on a road trip this time to do one last big strip. I love the first Magic Mike, not just because I got to see hot men stripping down, but I really like the story, and, you know, unfortunately, this one did not live up to it. I considered it the worst movie I saw this summer. I thought the story was just vignettes. There was nothing holding it together. They went from one moment to another. I think some of the stripping sequences was absolutely wonderful. But unfortunately, there was no substance to tie it together, where the first movie had a goal about this young guy getting involved in it and Mike learning about himself. There's nothing here to learn. He just, you know, they look good when they strip, but Christ, they could have just made 2 hours of just stripping scenes with famous people, and I think it would have been, come to think of it, that sounds downright brilliant. I maybe have to, well, I don't know famous people, but I know local famous people, so maybe I'll do a stripping movie like that. Gotta have these projects in your mind. You never know when you need them. But actually, I was very disappointed in Magic Mike XXL, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Yeah, even worse than Poltergeist. At least Poltergeist, you know, had, you know, a story. Not the greatest, but at least it held its fabric a little bit better. Here's a movie some of you probably never even heard of, but I saw it, and I from the first trailer I saw, I knew I had to see it. It's called Max, not to be confused with Mad Max Fury Road, which I reviewed on the first segment. But Max is the story of a dog that is in Afghanistan, and after his partner is killed, they ship the dog back and try to give it to the brother of the soldier that passed on. And at first, the movie looks like it's going to deal with the dog having, the war syndromes, that they're having distress, which they do. They deal with a little bit, but it eventually turns into kind of a twisted action movie that I actually thought was really good. This movie got panned by a lot of people. It didn't even play in a lot of theaters. I was lucky enough to catch it, and I hope people find this one on DVD. Because, yes, it does get over the top in the second half, but I really liked it. I thought the performance from the dog was phenomenal. Great dog performance. But this movie was entertaining. I liked it a lot. I liked, all the supporting cast in it. So, Max, look for it if you can find it. We continued the Marvel Universe in the second half of summer with Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas. I like this movie. It was very entertaining to me. I did not love it as much as everybody else did. I know a lot of people were like, wow, one of the best. I actually think this is on the lower side of Ant-Man. It was a pretty good story. I think all the actors are good. I loved Paul Rudd. I think he did a great job. I think Michael Douglas acted the shit out of his thing. I think he was like, he did not mail it in any way. He was there. There's a couple of side characters that are his friends that just came off as really bad stereotypes to me. I found them annoying after a while, and I know this is the people that got raves that said they really made the movie. And to me, that was just absolutely horrendous. The visuals are great. A lot's going on. I think the thing I didn't like about this movie was that I didn't feel a lot of heart in this movie. I like an emotional impact, which a lot of the Marvel movies have had. Even Avengers 2, which is action-packed, had some storylines, like the Hulk storyline and the Hawkeye storyline, which had an emotional impact. Guardians of the Galaxy last year had an emotional impact. I didn't feel the characters had any impact with one another. I don't feel that there was any heart to the story, so to me it was just a pretty good, entertaining action film. So for Ant-Man, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Trainwreck, movie starring Amy Schumer and Bill Hader. Now, I knew Amy Schumer. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, but I knew her name was all over the place. And I decided to check this out because the trailers look pretty good. And I think this was an absolutely funny movie. I think it's quirky, it's romantic, it's just nice. There's some really, gross moments, but not really gross, but just like, cringeworthy moments is better to say. But it was good. This is the kind of movie that, what I liked about it was that it was a woman lead in a movie that you'd think this would be a man lead, but Amy just holds it, strong, and even though she might be playing herself, which, that's what it feels like, who cares? It really works with the storyline. Bill Hader, very surprised. I like him as a comedian, but he's actually a pretty strong actor, and I think a strong love interest in this movie. I'd really like to see him do more. I think he does have a couple of drama films out there, so I'll have to check them out. John Cena, absolutely hilarious in this movie. I know he gave so much for this movie. Not only does he just play the most ridiculous character and nails it every time as this, I don't want to give it away, but just this boyfriend that you might question. Let's just go with that. But I'm also surprised at just the amount of nudity he shows in this. Like, he doesn't hide anything, and John Cena is a very beautiful man, I must say. So, but honestly, it is a good movie. I'm not just giving it high hope just because you see John Cena practically naked in this movie. It is a really good movie, very funny. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Wow, here is a movie that was quite controversial. It's probably going to be the big bomb of the summer, It was a franchise that they were hoping to reopen. Fantastic Four. It came. It's probably going to be gone out of theaters by the time you hear this. Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. It was expected to be the movie that would revitalize it, and I think a lot of people believed it because the trailers looked so good. Before we get into it, I actually liked the two previous Fantastic Fours. I know people hated it. I liked them because, one, they were funny, and two, it was nice to finally get superhero movies that you could literally take children to. Because I know, a lot of people drag the kids to see these superhero movies, but I think some of them are actually really dark. So the first two Fantastic Four movies I thought were actually pretty good. I don't know what's exactly wrong with this Fantastic Four. The beginning is okay. It moves along slowly, the characters are there. I think the actors all did well, and then about a halfway point they do something in the movie that just seems to change the whole tone of the movie. We seem to lose perspective on the movie. It just totally falls apart. I did not totally hate this movie. It was just a movie where I came out and I was just lost with it. I didn't know what exactly was wrong with it. I had to sit and think about it. I didn't know exactly what was right about it. It just felt like a movie. I didn't come out hating it like other people did. That's why I'm going to put it at a 5 out of 10, because it's kind of on the fence with me. I did enjoy aspects of it. I'll be shocked if there'll be a sequel, or if it'll go anywhere. There was rumors that it might cross over to the X-Men universe. I'd be surprised they want this anywhere near this. It'll be interesting to see what happened, but the movie does fall apart. It doesn't feel right. I definitely say check it out if you're a superhero fan, whether you check it out on the cheap theaters or wait till it comes out on DVD, or streaming, but I think it's worth a look so you can judge it for yourself. The final movie that I saw this summer was Vacation, the sequel, although some people have been calling it a reboot. It's obviously a sequel, because it's Rusty grown up. Rusty Griswold is all grown up, and now he's going to take his family to Wally World, because he had such great memories of when his dad took him. His dad and mom, Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, that do cameos in this movie. Ed Helms plays Rusty Griswold, and Christina Applegate is his wife. There's also a nice bit where they go see his sister, Audrey, who is now played by Leslie Mann, and she's married to Chris Hemsworth, who has a very funny moment. This is not the movie I hoped it would be. I think it was pretty strong, but I think it could have been a lot better. I laughed a lot through this movie. There is a lot of gross-out comedy and a surprising amount of pedophilia jokes, so it makes it a lot darker. It made me laugh, but it isn't the standout that I was hoping it was going to be. It's nowhere near as classic as the original Vacation or Christmas Vacation, but it is a lot better than European and Vegas Vacation. So, but be warned, because there is it's a lot darker than the other movies, but I just think there's some nice moments in it too. I think Ed Helms is pretty strong as Rusty, and some, as I said, Chris Hemsworth, very funny as the rugged rustler cowboy type guy. He just is proving that not only is he this beautiful, beautiful man, but he does have some comedy chops. He proved that on Saturday Night Live, and now he's doing all these other comedies, and good for him. So anyhow, that is my summer movie quickie review roundup, part 2. Hopefully you get a chance. Some of these movies are probably still in theaters. Some are probably on their way to becoming Blu-rays and DVDs. Some you might find on cheap theaters or on streaming networks. Whatever the case, as I always say, I never said Vacation, I give a 7 out of 10. Because, as I said, I was thoroughly enjoyed. So anyhow, if you can find these movies, go for it. As always, these are just my opinions. I always say, don't check it out. That's the best way to know if you like a movie or not, because, as I said, I gave Ant-Man a low number. Lots of people are loving it. But let me know what you think. And I can't believe the summer's over. Already looking forward to next summer at the movies. But I don't want to rush it too far, because there's a little Star Wars movie in between the next summers that I'm really looking forward to as well. Anyhow, I'll talk more movies in future episodes. We'll talk to you very soon. Hello, Devlin here with you, and it's Devlin's Pirate Radio Show, and we're kind of doing something a little different here. We're going to do a 20-minute little segment, but I'm here with the lady that got me started on this and got me, you got me the microphone, so I felt guilted into doing this, but no, I'm very thankful I'm doing this. You also do my editing, and look, you do so much in my life. We'd be taking the 20 minutes about all the things you've done. This is Miss Korta M.
Hi.
I'm going to add a Miss to her name.
Sure.
Anyhow, this is just something we're just plugging in the cord and just going for it, and I just thought it would be interesting to talk about how we got into this adventure together. I actually get a couple of questions. One of the questions is Mike or Korta ever going to do a show with you? Because Mike's my partner. And these are the two questions these are the answers I got. Mike could do a show, but to get him to talk in normal life is just, I don't think things are going to be different if I shove a microphone in his face. And number two, Korta said she would have no problem doing the show, but she'd basically just agree to everything I say. Yep. Because that's what she does in life.
And I would just sit here and listen mostly.
And I need that in my life. I need someone to say, yeah, that's awesome. But we don't have disagreements. Good Lord. It's just they're very rare and far between.
Yes.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Never mention that movie, and we're good. Inside jokes already. So anyhow, I've known Korta for a long time, and I just thought we'd talk about putting this show together. Not necessarily in detail, but you do a lot of that. It's not just me doing the magic here.
Well, you do the hard part.
No, but see, I come up with these crazy ideas, and one day I remember saying to you, I think I want a podcast. Mm-hmm. You remember the day well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Actually, you mentioned it a couple times, I think.
Yeah. Now, some of them she tries. Like, I'll say random things like, I want to start a radio station. She's looked into that. She hasn't admitted to it, but I think I've said the words, I want to start a religion. She's probably looked into that. But that's probably just too hard to start. But she would, if I said that. I have to watch what I say sometimes, too. But if I can't find work, I'm going to look into that phone site. I have a microphone now.
I'm not editing that for you.
No, it would be live. People would call me. Okay, let's not talk about my upcoming jobs. So anyhow, I said I wanted to podcast, and you got me a lovely microphone, which I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a sexual apparatus, because I'm used to microphones looking like, like the old days when people used to sing on,
I think you can still get those, but this works.
Well, yeah, but those are mostly, you see people in bands do it.
Well, yeah.
So I got this thing that looked like, a rotor-rooter, and I liked it, but when I saw what it was, I was excited, and then I thought, wow, I'm going to have to use this at some point. But it's been a great time. We've done a whole bunch of shows. Did you think I'd be bored of it yet?
No, because I know you're so good at talking and everything that you'd find lots to talk about. And I didn't know if you'd get any listeners except for me, but you did, so that's great.
Yeah, and that's always nice, because I've always joked that if I get one person besides Korta, because I know Korta will listen to pretty much anything I say. I could just be sitting here rambling, which I do most of the time, but usually I have a reason for it. But No, and I started getting people, and it would be nice. I love hearing comments because it's nice to hear. But basically, you just found all this stuff online and stuff, right? Like, not the microphone, obviously you had to buy that. But, like, the programming, it's all there online and stuff. We don't pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
No, it was actually all free. I looked into what program everyone said was best for podcasting, and everyone said this free program is, and I thought, hey, I'm actually already using that. So I've just never used it for podcasting because I'm not into that, and it's easy enough to set up, so now you know all about it.
Yeah, and could I edit my own show? I think I'd need a refresher course. Possibly, because you were surprised that I was actually using the program.
We were doing good, yeah.
I was mixing music tapes, of course.
Yes.
Not 100% legal mixing tapes.
Just for your own use.
Yeah, well, I like making party things, and I like mixing the songs. Here's one going out, here's one coming on. But you were actually surprised I was learning that, so I think I could edit a little bit.
And you've watched me do it. Well, every time we've done it.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention, to be honest. I'm just like, is she done yet? Now, people are shocked that it only takes us, I would say, 40 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
It takes you probably longer putting the picture.
Yeah, if there's complicated things, it takes us about an hour to get the audio part all together, and then just putting the pictures together. Sometimes it's harder because I want to synchronize it with what you're saying, but if I know the last one I just did, it's like, okay, these pictures all go for this topic, and just throw them all in, and it works.
Yeah, and you do it so easily. Like, it would literally take me, I'd be erasing stuff, and but it is fun watching you put it together and stuff like that. And we're always, a lot of people ask me when do I do it, and I'm actually have them recorded a week in advance.
Yeah.
You know, we're not at that point yet that we're doing live streaming.
No.
Actually, it's funny, though, because when I record with a co-host, there's this, like, awkward hissing sound through the whole thing, and they're like, it doesn't sound like that at home, and when I first heard it, I'm like, well, we need to get rid of that, I'm not doing that, and it took nothing for you to figure out that you could actually remove the hiss, and I think the shows sound beautiful.
Oh, I think so, too.
In fact, I didn't think they'd be as professional sounding as they are.
Oh, they're wonderful. I mean, I'll be honest, it was a very cheap microphone, so I didn't know what it was going to end up like.
Everything in my life is cheap, Reed. But I'm very impressed with it. I've talked about in the future maybe investing in another cheap microphone, but then we have to look at the dynamics if we're going to get feedback or something, because I have a very booming voice. I've been kind of forced to the back of the room, and I'm still probably dominating over Korta's voice.
Well, mostly I'm just giggling, so that's...
Well, you're saying yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, without going into logistics, we have started looking... The music we use is technically safe to use because we do not make money on it.
Right.
So when people are shocked that I'm using, like, some big-name band... Unless I make money, then they're not going to be bothered with it.
That's right.
Except in Germany.
Yes, if there's a song and it says you can't play it in a country, for some reason it's always Germany, and it just, I guess if they search for it, it'll just say you're not allowed to watch it here, so.
Yeah.
But usually we manage to find songs that work almost everywhere. So.
Now that's the blog spot. YouTube is where the trouble is.
Yes.
The blog spot, I don't even think people who produce the blog spot probably even listen to any of the blogs.
Yeah, probably not.
So I could probably put, like, the #1 song of the week on there and stuff. But it's YouTube. And now you listen. You told me you listened to it probably about 3-4 times.
At least twice, usually 3 or 4, yeah.
You are so envious. You must be so lucky to hear that over and I don't listen to it that much.
Do you listen to them, actually?
Do I listen to them? To be honest with you, I do. Well, I have to look to see what pictures you put up, because we'll get to talk about that, because you actually are the one who does all that.
Yes.
That's your magic. And then I'm like, what the hell pictures you put up there? Do I listen to them? When I have a co-host, I do listen to them.
Okay.
The other ones I hit in beats, and sometimes I have listened to the whole episode. I have not listened to all of them.
Okay.
As in, I do listen to the little bits. I always listen to the editing and stuff. But very seldom will I put, because I think it's weird having my own voice in the background. But when I have a co-host, I like to hear their stories. And I think we've had 3 winners so far.
Definitely.
And I look forward to more. But it's just the little stories that they've shared, I think, are nice. It is really good. Now, the YouTube thing, you actually pick the pictures for that.
Yeah.
I will okay my pictures, and I try to send up either a new one or an old one, like something from my publicity stills, or I will actually do a photo shoot, like I did the movie one, and I got a summer one that I did too, and they don't always work, but as long as I got one usable picture out of it, and we like to take pictures of that day with the people too. And I do go through the pictures, so I do hear the podcast through that too.
That's good.
Only a couple times have I been like, what the hell? Because I sometimes challenge you with some of the topics, like, difficulties of being a man. Find pictures, like...
The Dirty Mind one was harder than I thought to find pictures. Yeah.
Hot dogs and donuts.
Oh, I didn't look that one up. I should
Now,
have.
again, I should tell people that the pictures we use are also okayed.
Yep. We, I forget now where we actually get them from, but when we go on, we search, and it's all, you're allowed to use them. Most of them you're even allowed to change if you want, but we don't bother because there's really no point to find pictures, so.
No, but in the future, if I can get a picture with me standing next to some celebrity, Valerie Bertinelli or Brad Pitt, or, someone, the A-listers, some of the A-listers. Valerie Bertinelli. So, we usually, Sundays have been our night to do it.
Yeah.
So that's when the recording is done. It's ready for the blogs, but we don't drop them, as you know, your fans. So they don't show up till Thursday.
Yep.
And it's funny, because you recently said that you might be going to Disneyland next year, and you're already worried how we're going to do it.
We'll figure it out.
Because I'm a slave driver, and she's worried that I'll find, Korta, some girl out there who wants to help me out.
Well, I know that would be the first thing you'd be thinking of is, wait a second, I've got weeks in there, I need to get a podcast up. So.
Now, you used to play the recorder. You need to brush up on that in case we make money on this now, and they tell us to pull all the songs.
We'd find actual free songs, I'm sure.
God, I can only imagine.
Well, I'm not saying they'd be good.
Yeah. So, if I know some friends out there who are listening to this who want to record some music, hey, I'm all for it. The song we actually use for my theme song, a lot of people ask, is Inner Smile. Because if you listen, it's by a group called Texas. I was inspired to use it because when I was doing my Devlin show, my producer, Ron Kebik, and my other producer, Stephen Strangways, we were putting together this small short film, and it just had me walking goofily along, and I was trying to tell Stephen what I was looking for. And then Stephen was going through all these songs, and suddenly we hit it, and it was Texas Inner Smile, and so my go-to song is usually Magic by Olivia Newton-John, but I decided not to, even though I love that people tell me when they hear Magic, they think of me. But then I thought to myself, if we ever, make money on this and Olivia Newton-John had to sue me, I don't think I could handle that, so I decided to go with Inner Smile. I don't know who these people are. They make me a great theme song, but if you hear Heather on the recorder... Well, I got my slide whistle. Maybe we could do a combined thing.
Yeah,
and if somebody has comb and wax paper, I would never want people to think that we do this big budgetedly. So, so we just wanted to let you know, kind of how we put it together. And then you put it on Thursday. You stay up till like 12:01.
No. I get it all ready Tuesday and schedule it all, and then most of it goes up automatically, actually.
Oh my God, it's so professional, it hurts.
That's just because I don't want to stay up till midnight.
It does. Well, no, that's good that you figured out a way to like actually tell it to put it on.
Yes.
Because sometimes I don't get the YouTube thing, because she usually sends that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put it out. And sometimes I'm waiting there like 8, 9 o'clock. What the hell? Well, I'll put the blog spot up.
That's when I actually get up and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to send him that still. So.
Yeah, and it's great. You guys help a lot too, because you tell us things that I had a man, Bill Dunphy, and he asked if he could get a downloadable one. Now, we actually could do it, but Heather, right away, I sent it to her. I said, people are demanding to put it on their devices, and I want to be driven around in people's cars. I think that'd be awesome.
Sure.
And so you looked on it immediately, and we got a downloadable version.
You'll have to do a road trip version, you know.
That would be great. I'm actually going to do a segment soon of what podcasting can change in my life. Because if I figure this out, I don't think I ever have to leave the house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But anyhow, we found a downloadable version. I have heard a couple people tell me they download me and take me on trips now and stuff. So I love this. I love that I'm part of people's lives.
You'll see the world from their MP3
I will, because I don't travel, so please tell me. It's like a garden gnome. Find a gnome that looks like me. Take pictures and tell me where I've been. Of course, you have to listen to the podcast at some point on your vacations.
Well, yeah.
But you know what? It's been a wonderful thing. Thank you very much for forcing me to do this.
You're
forcing me. I frickin' hate it. No, I'm kidding. I love every minute of it. And I'm sure you thought I'd be bored as of 3, and so, now I gotta lose my Sunday nights again. And,
well, I'm glad that you're not bored.
No, I know you're enjoying it too.
Mm-hmm, very much.
Yeah, well, it's always fun when we can mix it together. Yeah, all the projects we've done in the past, you think we could come up with one where we could make some spectacular money and stay home.
Well, that would be nice.
Why are we working people? Anyhow, so it doesn't sound like I'm coming up bitching. Thank you very much for taking this 20 minutes. If I knew other stuff we could talk about, you'd get your full hour. But honestly, we talk way too much in life.
I'd still just listen the whole time, so...
We will try to have you back.
Okay.
But I run out of interesting things. No, I'm just kidding. You know I love you and cherish you, and I couldn't treat you like garbage if I didn't. I am a diva. I want people to know that.
Well, thank you for having me on.
All right, and keep listening, and we'll have more of these little 20-minute segments. When I only have 40 minutes to fill, and I'm going to throw this at the end of a show because I'm in a mood or something. No, I'm kidding. Anyhow, talk to you soon.